Hello, there it is. Hello and welcome back to our 6th day of writing this National Novel Writing Month. It has been a little difficult for me to get into the groove. I haven't written anything in a while, and even without that, it's a little hard because of losing a bunch of stories, but you know, I'm still here, I'm still trying, and I feel like when it, like either today or tomorrow, I'm gonna break through it. I've been doing some programming this week as well for some future events for the nonprofit. So it's been a little tricky to kind of bounce between those two headspaces. Is really what it is, I think. But also I'm super rusty, so I'm acknowledging that is definitely one of the things. So yeah. And it looks like music's playing up nice. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Is that getting... Is that one? No? Okay, so I can set it to 5 before it starts picking up the vent. Cool. Oh, let's just do 4, just to give it that little bit of extra leeway. Okay. Be sure to pass us some notes. And yeah, I'm thinking so really what's been going on is because I've been having a hard time getting into it. That's why I've been working on some of the categorizational stuff, and the justification of it I think is still pretty solid, in that we're gonna have to connect with that stuff. We're gonna have to do that stuff eventually, but I'm just having a hard time kind of, figuring out, as is the plight of every story, where to start, right? Where to start redeveloping the content. Yeah, it's gonna be a journey. It's really just about getting any of my paper notes into the World Anvil, and then that could definitely be a direction to go. I don't know where she keeps moving around. It's how far she can go. That's What a journey. What a mess. It is, though. It is a mess. Not really. It's a little bit of organized chaos, or I thought it was organized chaos. Different thing. That's nice. Bonk in my head. That's fine. There's some notes that can help me. Not the one I was looking for. It's okay. I got stuck yesterday when I was trying to write on a species name that thing I was talking about it a little bit yesterday, where it's this idea that Tolkien was talking about with his writing, in the idea of subcreation, right, where all of the parts exist in either you like from your own stock, right, is the way that he says it. So it's like your own experience, your own truth kind of creates the story. And I, once again, little caveat with it, I think that that's wonderful if you're not considering how people might interpret the story. And so it's that delicate middle ground of like, don't write the story for the audience, but you need to have the audience in order for the story to be appreciated at the same time, right? It's that delicate balance between the two. And I think that the beauty of Tolkien, a lot of what Tolkien says and does is it's kind of like isolated beauty, even though the world is so vast and it's so expansive and the world building is so amazing, and I love everything about Tolkien's writing, it's very like sad because he did so much of it by himself, because he was isolated in this world that he had kind of created to get away from the horrors of reality that he had experienced. And originally he wasn't even trying to share the story with everyone, right? It was just with his son. So I like this idea of you have, like, everything exists within you, but when you're creating a collaborative story, right, you're not the only voice that's being put into it. So it's this like, you get to add more to the pot, more to the stock, right? Stock being a great euphemism for like a pot of a soup, right? So there's a whole bunch of ingredients that are used for a soup. What a fun metaphor. And once you put everything into the pot, then it creates something that's better because it's got little parts of everyone put into it. That's fun. Not to knock on the master once more. I don't know where else to go with that point, but I think I was just trying to get at it's lonely creating stories, and I think it's lonely creating art, maybe, is the better way to say that. Sometimes it can be isolating, drastically so, especially if you get it into your head that you need to be an expert or a master or somewhere approaching perfection, the fallacy of perfection. Gosh, I'm just pontificating now. I'm not meaning to do that. Here we go again. That's okay. I'll just have to work on a different section today. That's for something else. Yeah, I think that might be a good thing to do. So I'll work on. It's a lot of clicky. It's not too much typey, but I'm still not quite feeling the groove today. But there's still other things that I can do to help with the creation of the story, right? I don't need to necessarily always be writing, and that's why we call it a writing jog and not a writing sprint, because as long as we're making progress in some way, that's what matters. So welcome to the channel. I am Nicholas Lehusen. I am the director of Pantheon Arts Community Storytelling. We're just doing a little bit of writing and some body doubling, hanging out, checking out some music, or just chilling out with some music. Let me know if you have any questions or you want to chat or anything. I love auto restore. Just go to a different page. You don't need to load that page. It's okay. La. Okay. Thank you. It finally pulled up. So that'll work. Okay. Yeah, so I have this map behind me here that I made on this whiteboard, and what I'm working on now, and this part I actually can show off. There we go. And then display. Gotcha. It's on the wrong layer. I'll just get this centered. So yeah, what I'm doing now is I'm taking this map and I'm getting markers put on it so that it can be an interactable map from this page right here on the wiki that I'm building through World Anvil. So once, and the background image is replaceable, so basically what it lets me do is I can try to demonstrate real quick with one. So we have all these markers on the map. We get to take one of these pins and we say right here. That's where the pin goes. And then did they change this? What's going on? It should just be popping up. There we go. And so this is a big town over where this marker is being placed. So we would type in town to search for pins that have that kind of appearance. So I'm gonna not do these basic ones. I'm gonna do something a little bit more substantive. This the buildings, this one has 3, and then this one has 2 and a church. So churches are usually a part of even small communities, but larger churches with multiple houses in that close proximity makes it kind of imply a larger city. So we take this guy, even though that says village, kind of fits the theme with what we're going with, right? We'll go click next. So I don't have a name for this particular city yet. So it's the Oasis City. Marker groups. I still got to do marker groups, but I can demonstrate with just the one. Then we go next. Boop. And that is related to this map specifically. We can link it to the Oasis City. The Oasis Town. And then we can link it to the Oasis Town leaders. I haven't gone through the leaders of the cities. I've done tribes and clans so far, so I'll have to go back for that one, but that's okay. No related articles, history, or category. No, there might be a category at least. Nope, not yet. And then makes it public. I want to make it, well, it's not draggable for me. Or they're all draggable for me. I can click and drag them. So that makes it so that it's draggable for other folks. So now, if you click on this, assuming the article was done, it allows you to click and interact with the map however, like click on any of these places and then you can find out more information about them. So that was why I was focusing on geography the first couple of days, is so that when I get the map in, I could do that. And then I just gotta get a higher quality or better lighting picture, and then I can plug that in and move some of the markers around, but easy peasy. Oh, whoopsie. But yeah, so that's how that works. Super simple. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, so I was probably just gonna work on that for a little bit. Some it's a lot of clicky, but it'll help kind of revitalize my mind on some of the locations, because I have I wouldn't necessarily say that I've forgotten, but those notes are not in front of me right now. So we'll start from Black Peak. Oh, right. Marker groups allow me to create basically filters. So sortable filters, so that you can kind of like, when you go to the map, you can be like, well, I just want to look at locations that are connected to this organization or something like that. It's very cool. Very neat. don't know which ones would necessarily be public off the top of my head, but that's okay. I'm gonna go with doing it. I'm just gonna send it, right? That means Black Peak Kingdom. There's not really a faster way to do this, but tribes. See that? I don't like that. Because that's gonna lump both tribes together, even though they don't have the same system or governance. But I don't have names for the separate tribes, so I'm just gonna put it down. I'm sure I'll come back to that note when I do it later, if that's my first instinct. Yeah, let's do all of the Orenthite groups. Water. Wings of a Water Clan. I wonder if this will count towards my word count. I don't, like in the World Anvil program, I don't think so. I don't know if I would want to count it either. Nope, I got that one ready. Eastern Confederation. Because it's a group of merchants that all confederated together. The Fiandine clan. Same thing with the human tribes. Nimblings would be split. So what if I just, instead of how am I gonna marker it together? Is it gonna be, would you want to do something like cities that have nimblings is how you would want to do that, maybe? Or I mean, you can have two different kinds of categories. So we could have like Black Peak Kingdom is the section that discusses like all of the things that are under the prominence of the Black Peak Kingdom, but that's not all going to be like human settlements, right? So there'd be a separate branch or division of categories to filter specific to species. That seems... I like the sound of the redundancy, but that's going to be a huge filter list. So I think we need to generalize it a little bit. I think keeping all of them is going to be fine. It's just... Whew. going to keep it vague for now because I don't have the specific. I think that's where my brain is having an issue with it. Tribes. Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. The Oasis has an oligarchy, which is fun for everyone, except the people that aren't in the oligarchy. America's dealing with that right now. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm working on that stuff in the background. Very riveting. Click, click, click. But you know, if you got passion, it's gonna drive you to do things that aren't maybe the most fun. Oh, that's right. I had written down a note that I wanted to add plot point map markers, so you could kind of track the story through the map as well. One of our partners and actually he just got voted in as a board member yesterday, Brian Parker from Believe in Wonder Publishing. He does this really cool thing for story mapping where he'll he'll use a map like that, but he'll draw it in a way and to a sort of scale where it kind of okay, sure. Love you too. I was in the middle of talking, so that's why that kind of bugged me a little bit, but I know you gotta go, so thank you. Story mapping, and he kind of like draws it to scale so that you can track where the people and where the plot and where the story is gonna kind of follow, you know, so you can even see like maybe environments that the people are going to be staying in as they travel. It's very neat. It's very interesting. So it kind of was prompted by that idea where you know, maybe it's like a digital format of that, where if you were to you know, go to the map, you could say, oh, all the plot points for the first book, all the plot points for the second book, and then you'll be able to kind of track where the characters go and the parts that are relevant to that specific story. Isn't that cool? Yep, things are starting to come. Yeah, exactly. This is why I wanted to do this. This is good. Okay. Some of the names of some of the groups had like escaped me, the conventions that escaped me. So it was nice. It's nice. This is nice to be able to be reminded of that. Welcome to our writing jog. We're doing some map markers in World Anvil in the background for this big guy right here. Feel free to hang out. We're just doing a little bit of a body double. Put some stuff on the screen every once in a while. Working on our word counts. Man, it is raining a storm outside today. But that's always the case in Oregon. Apologies. Sakos, Takara, Fiandine, there's one. That's a secret one. Hello and welcome. We're doing some writing for NaNoWriMo or Novelember, whatever your preference is. We're on World Anvil, just chilling, just hanging out, listening to some lo-fi and doing some crafting. Sobratashi, Zemekian, Tana, Takara, Sakos. Oh, that's the other one. I always forget that one because it's also a secret. Secret. I got a secret. What other map markers might we need in a group? We might need... Did I get the... I did, okay. I got the dog folk, yeah, okay. What about... Ooh, I forget them as well. Because they don't have, like... formed societies. The Shapened. And then there's also Amphomeyer. Okay. I know I'm missing some things for the east. I don't have stuff for that yet. And then I know I'm missing some stuff for the underground and underwater. But I haven't rediscovered that yet. That might be a good way to say it. Rediscover. It's very interesting because it's like I have all of these notes about, like, explicit notes about the chapters and how the chapters are supposed to be organized, but then there's like words that I'm like, oh, I don't quite remember what that's a reference to, so I have to either find it or I have to recreate it. And it's definitely not a complaint. It's a very forlorn process, but I am honestly excited. I'm here for it. Just deep in the notes. That's not... None of that's relevant. Yeah. No. Yes. That is a really big no. That about. So I used to have this cosmic timeline, is what I called it. So I had split the perspective of the history of the stories into the mortal perspective and the godly perspective. So the mortal perspective is what they would know, what they would be able to observe and perceive from the events, and that's just the timeline. And then the cosmic timeline is like world-shattering events, or God versus God clashes, or things that would change the laws about the world at the end of that particular event. And that might be the reason why those laws might change is more mechanical in nature, but creating the narrative reason for it is like, that was always the best part. It was like, I know I want this to happen, but how do we make it happen? That's the discovery as a writer, is creating a world or series of worlds of space where you can do just that, where you can explore that what if, right? That's for... Oh! That's the plot map for the second book. I thought I lost that too. Look at that. I'm finding so much stuff today. None of it is things that I'm trying to work on right now. Hate that how it works though. This is a cool little feature. Apparently, I can make it so that only certain subscribers can see certain sections of the map as well, which I think it is dynamite. Ooh, a marker group should be for landmarks. Is very vague and might need more specificity in the near future. All right. I think then that's the other thing is, do I put... I guess that's how I would categorize the landmarks then, is if I'm putting down a city and there's still like a landmark that's nearby the city, separate and like be a very busy map without the filters. So there's a lot going on. So I'm excited to figure this out, but this is daunting. It is exhausting to think about this. How to layer this up. So what we're going to want to do is finish the organizational groups for the articles, because otherwise putting this stuff in the map, I'm going to have to go back through it later anyways, because some of the parts that the fields that you can click in, I'm not actually able to fill in. And coming back through it later is going to be even more exhausting than doing it all in one fell. So, dooply-dooply-doo. It's not adding to my word count. I am very pleased about that. Cool. Putting stuff into the map, that is. It didn't feel like we're making that progress today, you know? Cities it is. Stretch it real quick and grab a beverage. Sit a little different for a bit. See if that does anything. That definitely needs to be on the left side. That's Black Ink Kingdom. Southwest City. Guess that would actually go into a different section, but that's fine. It's unsorted, so it technically works for now. So their cities are in the trees. Providan, monkey people. Their cities are in the trees, and they live in nature, and they have elders, have a tribal system. But they also of all of the cultures of the species that I've worked on for the island, they kind of are just like, I feel like there's something else missing and I need to put something in on like literally a different level, right? So a different elevation. And so I was like, what could I do? I could do something on the hillside, something on the mountains. I have lots of stuff in the mountains. I could do the trees. Oh, something in the trees. And then I started looking at my list of like 40 species that are in development. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a great place to kind of build them out a little bit. But past that and figuring out some spaces where they might be able to exist, I don't remember getting anywhere past that with them. You know, some cultures that they could be intertwined with, but would we call their system a city, or would we call their system a village? So not that village in of itself means that it's not part of a societal structure or anything. It is. Do they have a hierarchy, or are they more communal, right? And I guess that's a better way to phrase that. And I feel like I want to say communal if they're like humans, right? But not humans. We can take some inspiration, of course, from sources like Planet of the Apes, and how ape and chimp cultures might kind of coexist if they had a more conversational, like, I don't want to say intelligence, because that's not the right kind of way to phrase it, because they do communicate and they do have intelligence and they do talk about stuff, right? Like chimps and apes, and they have language. So that's not the right way to phrase that, but for lack of a better term, intelligence. Humans tend to have hierarchies, so the Providan would be more communal, but then that means I don't want to have them be like necessarily secretive or kept away from society or anything like that, like the other cultures. But I feel like that's the place to land with them. Is maybe not necessarily that they're recluses, but they are timid. Yeah. Okay. And so they are very slow to trust outsiders to their community. It might be kind of like it could be synonymous with how the orc tribes work in the Elder Scrolls, in how they only really trust their own kind, but there's context and there's history as to why it works historically, or fantasy historically, of course, don't trust other species, right? In any given context, in any given world. So in Elder Scrolls, it's because they're treated as less than, they're treated as others. They're literally in many lores, they're cursed elves, right? That's kind of the concept with an orc, thanks once again to Tolkien. It's hard to talk about this stuff without talking about Tolkien a little bit, of course, but there's other writers like Le Guin, and not that I have read much of Brandon Sanderson, but I've heard only good things about the Cosmere series. So, and so many others, of course. We could have a whole channel just talking about like listing different authors, literally. So taking that concept from, not trusting outsiders, where would that history, that context, that culture stem from with the Providence Society? I have a couple things, a couple tendrils connecting. The question becomes, is it going to be a kind of like an individual emigration, or are they kind of like coming in waves, sort of a thing, right? Because each of those waves are going to define a new wave of culture as well. Kind of like with Ellis Isle, right? And how every single time we had a new wave of refugees, it was a new explosion of culture in America, to the melting pot. Hey, the pot metaphor comes back. I love it. I love it. Yeah, if I come up with any extra ideas, then we could always explore the idea of there being waves of culture that come, waves of these folks, and they could come from. I got 3 different avenues for people to kind of arrive on the island. One of them is a little bit more magical. One of them is a little bit more scientific, a little bit more tech oriented, and then and of course I'm talking about for the first of those species to arrive on that isle. And then the other way would be from them, kind of what I was saying, coming from a boat from another island or something like that. So I can see where one wave of culture might come from. There's another island that is probably going to have Providan. Two different kind of Providan cultures. So one of them could be kind of like a refugee culture. Okay. That's how it started, at least, is like a refugee culture. They're running away from some sort of conflict involving the other culture, you know, culture clash, and so they get kind of pushed off the island and they have to find a new home. Okay. So that allows, that sounds like that would be that sounds like that would be the culture that we were kind of trying to root, right? Is what's the reason why the Providan would be not trusting of other species or other groups? And that system only works if the other culture that they're clashing with is not their own culture. Or their own people, right? Because otherwise that's antithetical to the tradition that they hold. I mean, it's a tradition rooted in trauma, but it is still a tradition. And then the representation of that. Okay. I feel like that would be the larger culture of the Providan, but there might be a smaller sect that can explore a different path, a different outcome if we come up with a different idea, right? And it's not that, it could be that they were a part of the main of that culture of refugees and then they split off and did their own thing. It could be that they are a subculture of that group and they're still part of it, like a tribal system, right? Tribes and clans. Or it could be that they decided that they wanted to make more of a city system, more of a hierarchy, right? So if those are all three different options, if they were stemming from the same group, but if they came in a different wave with a different group, then their culture and their values wouldn't have to have any bounds, any connection to that previous system. So it allows for more diversity in the storytelling as well, especially when there's other places to unfold. So you can do three, right? You could do one that splits off from the refugees and then they're kind of a subculture, and then you could also have another one where it's more of like a city setup. The question is, where would these things be, right? So let's explore. So I know that I had put a Providan city up there in the eastern jungle, or city settlement, whatever. And then there's that one down there. Which is meant to be in conflict. Well, there we go. That's the conflict, is that part of the refugee group has finally decided to break off after a history of their people staying together and somewhat hidden in the trees, secretive. Okay. be careful about how that story is represented. And that's why they would trust that other group as part of the mounting hostilities, because that species doesn't exist on the island that they came from, so they wouldn't have any negative will towards them, or animus. Animus is a synonym for hatred. Isn't that fun? Think about that the next time that you play Assassin's Creed. Animus is a synonym for extreme hatred. So the beauty of that metaphor with the machine that you get into is the Templars despise the assassins, and that machine is meant to bring about their downfall. So, and I haven't played since I never beat Unity, but that was the last one I played, and it seemed like they were winning. The Templars seemed like they were winning, at least in Black Flag. That was a really really good ending to that one. I think that's where they really decided how wide to expand it, and I feel bad because I stopped getting into it after that, but it wasn't because Unity was buggy or anything. I kind of fell out of it because it's like every game plays the same. It's almost like traumatic memories or experiences. It's like, haven't I done this before? I don't get it. And I'm not really a big fan of collectible hell. So, I mean, it's fun to have it every now and again, but Ubisoft games, man, they go hard with collectible hunting, and it's just gameplay for the sheer sake of gameplay. It's not even, I don't know. I think they do it right with some stuff, like if it's building out the world too, with like you find a thing and it gives you lore, and you're like, oh, cool, let me read about that thing a little bit. But if you're just like gathering feathers to give to your little brother or something, it's not. Anywho, didn't mean, I'm just like casually throwing shade at Ubisoft over here. And how about that Battlefield 6? So that's one. I need to write that down. I'm going to forget that maybe. So that's a way to connect the hostile group with a reason. Oh, geez, I don't remember the name of that particular island that I'm thinking that they came from. I'm gonna have to go pull that up real quick. So I don't want to just generically reference that island. Sounds silly. Northern descent. Go. Ties it to that other little thing, gives it some history. Face value, that sounds like a good idea, but then they're just being utility, and I don't like that. Hostiles. Main tribe. So some would stay on that ship, probably. Yes. Cool. Love it, love it, love it. So I just came up with that we were talking about how the the Providan, the monkey people, they connected with this potentially refugee-like history where they came from another island, right? So from that other island, we had to come up with a reason why they wouldn't trust outsiders, right? So that led us to kind of it led me to ideate a little bit about, what are some reasons why they might not trust outsiders, and why would they eventually like, why would that shift? Why would that change? Why would they maybe trust someone later? Right? All of those questions are kind of forming. I got this like nice little tidbit of lore for like creating trust through aiding their community without any return expected, right? And that would come from the catfolk race, catfolk species. So the catfolks being mostly on the west side of the island, and the Providan being mostly on the east side of the island where all the jungles and stuff are. And the unity between those two allows for a really powerful potentiality to emerge, whether good or bad, right? But then tying it in with, we have this boat that is supposed to come from where the Providan are refugees from. So they first came on that boat's first voyage. Boom, there we go. So now it becomes this storied history amongst the people who have a deep roots in the island itself, and then people who are coming from the island and later create roots with that system and that culture. It's really cool. Hello, additional viewer. We're just doing some writing for NaNoWriMo or Novel Ember, depending on what organization you're looking to support. We're working on building out this map for a fantasy tabletop series that our nonprofit is working on. There's a lot more context, but I'm not going to say it every single time a new person joins. The long and the short of it is that we're here to write. So, welcome. Cool. So ultimately, that means it's probably going to end up being more of a tribal system. Will be a second clan later in the timeline, so I will pluralize it. We should be on for at least another 10 minutes or so. I'm feeling the juice start to wane, the creative juice start to wane, and I do still have a little bit more programming for some future events to do. I might be able to push to 40 minutes, 10 to 40 minutes. We'll see how things develop. And then we're just doing organization for organizations, tribes, clans, cities, leadership, etc. Getting articles set up in the back end. That is a city, so I might have put an extra one in here. I mean, they can still have a city structure and still have clans. Irish, that's something in Ireland and Scotland where they have all of their city-states are separated by clans in ancient times. So you could have I don't think that works for there though. So they would just be a city. So this one, let's delete it. Structure of organizational leadership that town would have quite yet. Just gonna put it there for now. Almost done with today, I think. Not with the whole day, just with this activity for today. Almost done with the day. Culture or ethnicity instead. Come up with a colloquial name for them. Can't just call them commoners. But like one of the towns we have, they're called Silvers because the town is called Silverbirth. So their culture, their ethnicity has them labeled as silvers. Awesome. Okay. Ah! I keep typing the wrong letter. No! You made a double. Ah! It's taking a little bit to think here. All right. Well, I guess that's it for today because it doesn't seem to want to load the next page. I'm trying to access. I'm going to refresh and see if it does it. There we go. list. It's meant to be a list of all the folks who have been. It's another title. Should just say Regent. I don't even think it should be there because there's already it should be maybe more like Black Peak. And voila, I think that's me for today. And another 200 words, whatever. We'll get there. I know we'll get there. I just gotta get some programming done for this week. It's taken a lot of focus for me. 1666.66 times 6 should be at a little less than 1,000. We should be at about double this today. About 1,000 words instead. So I'm gonna see what I can do after I get this programming done. I didn't get any of my website edits done that I needed to get done yesterday. Lots of stuff to do. I wish I could do this all day. Honestly, I don't think that I can. And that's part of the challenge of writing a novel, right? Is finding time to do it in between all the other stuff. So. How do we set an example? We model the way. So I'm trying my best. We'll get there. I appreciate all of you who maybe watch this at a later point. I appreciate that I'm able to give myself some grace to be in an empty room by myself and still be able to do this. So that's really nice. I haven't been able to do that for a long time. So I appreciate all of you who come to appreciate this, and I hope you have a wonderful